We were looking at the ADS model where we started out talking about the AS curve. We said the AS curve captures the effect of output and price level. We started talking about the properties of the AS curve. The first property was that it's upward sloping in the YP plane. Second property that we want to talk about is that the AS curve passes through the point y is yn and p is equal to pe, which is given as point A in the figure. Now, why is that? This is simply based upon the way we define the natural rate of unemployment. So now recall from the earlier chapter that we defined the natural rate of unemployment and by implication the natural level of output associated with this natural rate of unemployment as the rate of unemployment and by implication the level of output that prevails if P is equal to P. The way we define U is equal to UN is it's the equilibrium rate of unemployment when P is equal to P, and associated with UN is YN. So based upon the definition of UN, we know that when y is yn, so we know that u is equal to un, and we know u is equal to un occurs when p is equal to p. So the reason the AS curve passes through this point yn and p is because we defined un, and by implication yn as that level of unemployment, and by implication that level of output when p is equal to p. So we know when y is yn, so we know u has to be un, and the way u is equal to un is defined is that p is equal to p. Now, since the AS curve is upward sloping, this property that it passes through the point yn and pn has two important implications. The first is that if y is greater than yn, such as at point B, then p is greater than the expected price level. Now, the economic intuition behind this is that when y is greater than yn, this means the current unemployment rate is below the natural rate of unemployment, u is less than un. This puts an upward pressure on the nominal wage, and therefore prices would rise above the current expected level. Similarly, if y is less than yn as at point C, then p will be less than pe as given as shown by point C. So we need to remember the AS curve is upward sloping, and it always passes to the point yn and pe, which is simply based upon the way we defined un earlier. So, and then we know, given that the AS curve is upward sloping, the fact that it passes through yn and pe means that if y is greater than yn, p will be greater than pe. If y is less than yn, p will be less than pe.